This is the last part of my Heart of the Swarm no production challenge. Last time I got Primal Kerrigan and demonstrated that she's overpowered. Anytime I have Primal Kerrigan, this challenge is easy, so I won't show most remaining missions. But I don't get Kerrigan for the mission Phantoms of the Void, instead I get Stukov as my hero. Stukov has a ranged ability that deals damage to a single target, and an aura that increases hit point regeneration of my nearby units. Normally Stukov can summon infested Terrans, but that's not allowed in the no production challenge, so I only have 5 units in my army. Stukov, 2 Ultralisks, and 2 Hydralisks. The reason I don't have Kerrigan is she's busy showing off her godlike powers, but that's not enough for her. She also gave me a main objective of worship her at 5 temples. While worshipping, Stukov can't move or attack. But the Protoss attack when I'm worshipping, and they're too much for my army, so I run back to Stukov, who can't move or attack, but can still help with abilities. Soon after I beat the Protoss, a hybrid comes. My Ultralists are still very injured, so I burrowed them, but the hybrid found them anyway, so I distract it with my Hydralist. Then Stukov finishes using the temple, and I barely beat the hybrid. This was just Temple 1, the easiest of the 5 temples. But I didn't need any fancy tricks here, so I'm not too worried. The Protoss attack my base. This first group is quite weak, and I beat them easily. Then I'm away from my base when the second group comes, so I intercept them near this ledge. I'm here anyway for the temple. There's 3 side temples and 2 middle temples, and I want a middle temple next. The enemy warps in at 2 separate locations with about half the number of units at each, and my army beats the enemies on one side, while the enemies from the other side run to Stukov. Fighting 2 small groups of Protoss is easier than 1 big group of Protoss, and I've positioned carefully, so I had 1 full health Ultralisk, and I sent the rest of my army away. My Ultralisk runs around frantically and distracts the hybrid. More enemies came to my base, but Stukov led them to my army. Next time they send enemies towards my base, I'm ready, and I blast them as they move past. The enemies attack my base and don't notice me blasting their void rays. Then I can use my army against their stalkers. Next, I worship at the 3rd temple. My plan is mostly the same as the 2nd. The Protoss warped in as 2 small groups, so there's not too much trouble, but one of the groups had 2 scouts. Since my Ultralisk can't hit them, I kept my Hydralists around a bit longer than I should. And a hybrid killed a Hydralisk. This is a real tragedy. Anyway, I sent back in the Ultralist that still had most of its hit points, and it distracted both hybrid. Still don't dare fight them. And then Stukov ran away too. Then Archons and Carriers come. I left a gateway so the Archons form a single file line. This is important because Archons are faster than Stukov off creep. Stukov can run away across my creep, which helps, and blast the Archons enough times. But the Carriers are slower than Stukov, so that part will be easy. The enemies march towards my base one final time. Stukov blasts the Colossus from behind. But the rest of them continue into my base, where my 2 Ultralisks are waiting for them, right between the Ultralisk Cavern and a Vespene Geyser. With such a narrow space, most of the Zealots can't attack my Ultralisk, and Stukov can beat the Stalkers. Next is the 4th temple, but too many strong enemies warp in, so my Ultralists run away and distract them, then burrow. Some hybrid and Stalkers went towards Stukov. I distract them with my Overlords, Drones, Hydralisk, and Uprooted Spine Crawler. And I blast the Stalkers, and it's barely enough. I finished the 4th temple, but Stukov did not survive, and I failed the challenge because my base automatically produces a replacement Stukov. Anyway, I don't have enough left for the 5th temple. I previously skipped most of the evolution missions because I don't know a way of doing the next 3 without production. Splitter Banelings produce Baneling spawn, Corpser Roaches produce Roachlings, and Swarm Hosts produce Locusts. The Hydralisk Evolution mission, Mutalisk Evolution mission, and Ultralisk Evolution mission are all possible without production. You probably expected this for Hydralisk and Ultralisk, since production is normally not part of those missions anyway. But normally, the Mutalisk Evolution mission includes Broodlords, and Broodlords produce broodlings when they attack. Instead, I get 6 Mutalisks against a well-defended Terran base. With a combination of flying past stuff, waiting for hit point regeneration, and careful fights, I can get 2 Mutalisks over their planetary fortress. When it's destroyed, I win this section, despite not doing the main objective about Broodlords. It's summary time! I failed the brutal no production challenge for 3 evolution missions and 5 regular missions. Lab Rat and Fire in the Sky require production for the main objective. The Crucible, Enemy Within, and Phantoms of the Void were all too difficult for me. The challenge might be possible for Phantoms of the Void, but probably is not possible for the other 7 missions. The end. Bye bye.